Cool. All right. Are you going to count me in?
I'll count you in. You ready?
It's helpful.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome to Extra Special Brews. I'm Steven Spears.
I'm Will Cushman.
It is extra special news from Extra Special Brews, the first one of 2020. Very exciting stuff because we got to take some time off
Yeah.
and sit around, have a few beers, stay away from a few beers because we had New Year's resolutions. And now we're back to the beers, so it's
Yep.
it's a great way it circles around. You know, did you have like a drinking resolution that you had?
No.
Okay, that's okay.
Nothing.
That's okay. I wasn't gonna say because I don't know how many people write them down anymore.
Yeah.
But you know, some of us, like I told myself, especially after New Year's, I was like, if I'm drinking any IPAs, no more than 3 in a night, because I do not recover like I used to.
So your resolution is just more self-preservation.
100%. It is
Yeah.
survival.
Yeah.
So, but it's exciting to get another year kicked off here. We got a lot of great interviews coming up this year with folks that are up and coming in the Alabama craft brewery scene, and then some that you know very well. We just haven't had a chance to talk to yet. So stay tuned for that stuff, and you can stay tuned by heading to extraspecialbrews.com. And the cool new feature there is if you scroll to the very bottom of the page, you can subscribe to the newsletter. And what that'll do is each week when we put out extra special news, we'll put out a newsletter to accompany it with everything we talk about in writing, so that there's something you forgot, something you heard, and you didn't write down quick enough. It's right there for you in print. And then we'll have newsletters coming out with new episodes and all that stuff. So it's cool. I love websites that are so easy to edit that we had that up and running in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
So it worked out beautifully. But we don't want to stall any longer, because you would think 2 weeks off, essentially, there wouldn't be that much to catch up on. But it seemed like these were the 2 weeks for everybody to release everything they could to kick off the year.
Yep.
So to go along with what's going on this weekend, we're going to catch you up with everything that's new at breweries across the state, so that if there's not an event that you want to check out, well, you can just go try something new.
There you go.
And the beginning one was a cool one for me, because we don't get a lot of stuff from the folks up north on a weekly basis of new releases.
Yeah. Yellowhammer up in Huntsville. They've got 2 new guys. They've got Next Giant Leap Amber Ale. It's a collaboration brew with NASA Homebrewers Group
Ooh.
and the Mad Scientist Fermentation Club. It's a tribute to the 50th anniversary of the Apollo moon landing. So that's kind of funny. You know, when we were up there, I think it was Straight to Ale we were talking to about the engineer homebrewers that would come in and ruin the brewery tours by saying their equipment was nicer and more controllable. And but that's very cool. They're doing a collaboration like that. They also have out on shelves now a session IPA called Beachbody. It's a 3.1% session IPA.
Man, that's very sessionable. Is that
Very?
so? What is, when they say session, is that under a certain number?
Yeah, I think it's under 3.5 or maybe 4%. I think maybe 3.5. I'm not sure.
3.1 is the definition in my mind. I mean, that's like you can get kombuchas that are around that range. So I like that they went the Beachbody route with the session IPA route.
Yeah,
they knew what
it's not a light IPA. It just doesn't have as much booze in it.
Yeah, they knew what my resolution was: staying alive. So, and that's what's wild is I would love to see all the crazy stuff that comes out of that NASA Homebrewers Group, the Mad Scientist Fermentation Club. I can only imagine what type of beers they have sitting in basements in Huntsville right now.
Yeah.
Things that they would probably have to lock behind a fence somewhere. It's a property of the government or something like that, you know.
Possibly, yeah.
So
they're making some crazy stuff up there.
So I'm sure an amber ale on the surface is like, well, that seems pretty normal. It's probably one of the better amber ales you're going to find.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a twist to it for sure.
Yeah. So this one, I'm glad that I got to touch on. Ghost Train put out I believe it was last week, they put out their Too Small a Slice. And if that didn't give it away for you, it's a chocolate pecan mud pie milk porter. Oh my goodness. I mean, I started breathing kind of heavy when I was reading this. And the description on it was before being conditioned on cacao nibs. Did I say that right? I think I say it a different way every time.
Cacao.
Cacao nibs.
Cacao nibs.
And over 120 pounds of hand toasted pecans.
Man, someone has some hot hands.
That sounds exhausting. A touch of lactose and an irresponsible amount of chocolate malt. So you can go try the Too Small Slice. I saw they still have that on draft. They have the Death Mill we discussed previously, and then a Dunkaroo Death Mill version.
Yep. I saw that.
So if you're in the stout porter still thought process, especially with it being cold and rainy this week, you're good there. And if you still want to look back on what was beautiful about summer, they brought back the Mango Days New England IPA. They got it back available in their 16-ounce cans, which when they first put this out, I thought it looked delicious, and I still haven't had a chance to try it. So that might be one that I make my way. I don't think I'm going to mix the two.
Yeah, probably not.
Not in the same sitting, but
yeah,
two things you can check out there at Ghost Train here in Birmingham.
Yeah. Just down the road, also in Birmingham, Trim Tab. They put out a really good beer, which we tried on New Year's. The Snowbird.
I didn't try that one.
You didn't try it?
No, I never got a hold of that one.
It's good.
Really?
So it is a summer-inspired imperial sour ale with cherry, apricot, and vanilla. It is an 8% ABV. So definitely imperial, but it is very, very good.
I like how they also they don't do ABV at Trim Tab. They do PBV, which is 8% party by volume.
Party by volume. I know. They've got their own language over there, that's for sure. They've also just released, I think re-released, the classic Margarita Lime Goza. Crafted with pink salt, tangerine, and key lime. This is happy hour in a can.
Nice. I was wondering when I saw this if they got the key lime first or I forgot where I was going with that. We'll continue.
Cut that out.
Yeah, no, I'll edit that out, I guess, because I was putting it together, and for some reason I was thinking, oh no, I was for some reason the eggnog IPA had a key lime flavor to it. And I don't know how to explain it, but when I saw this, I thought maybe they had some leftover from putting this together where they came up with the whole eggnog thing. It's weird to explain, but if you tried the eggnog, especially the eggnog holiday now, it had like a weird little bit of key lime flavor to it. So, something to look at.
Yeah. And also, this was added after we put our notes together and before we got on the horn here. Cake Therapy Imperial Stout is back on draft and to go. So that's double chocolate, cinnamon, vanilla icing. They say it didn't last. Excuse me. It didn't last long in the first round. Grab yours today, and everything's going to be okay. 10% ABV. So
those are very good. I ended up grabbing a 4-pack at one point, and I've had 2 or 3 different people who came across it at the store and texted me and said, "Any good?" And I was like, "Grab it. Just go ahead and get it while you can." Very not too sweet. That was the one thing I was worried about. With that, I was going to drink it and feel like I was having dessert, and it was not that way. So,
good.
If you get a chance to get that,
they had a couple 4-packs at the Greenwise, and I didn't pick one up for some reason.
Yeah, because you're an IPA boy.
That's right. IPA
boy. Birmingham as well, which is no surprise. It's in Birmingham here because it's Birmingham District Brewing. Putting out a lot of new stuff too over the last month. This one came out earlier this month. The Raspberry Solstice. Now this is their Imperial Berliner Weiss aged on raspberries and vanilla beans. And if you look at the photo on their Instagram or whatever social media page, it is as raspberry colored as it gets. Like, this is
Oh yeah.
not that flavor is going to surprise you.
Yeah.
Uh,
It
it looks
is
like a can of
bright.
puree.
It's opaque. You can, like, it's not see-through whatsoever.
No.
Yeah, it just looks like raspberry juice in a glass.
Yeah, like I feel like they could tie-dye T-shirts and just call them like matte raspberry with that bad boy, and they'd be perfect to go. So if you
Yeah.
get by there, I'm sure they have a couple other brews that we've touched on recently that they've either put back on, because every time I go in there, it's rotated differently. They do a great job of making sure there's always something new for you to check out there. District Brewing.
Oh yeah. Up the road a little ways and Trustful, we got Ferris Artisan Ales. They've got several out. The Bovines, which is a double IPA brewed with Strata and Galaxy hops and fermented with Sauvignon Blanc grape juice.
That's interesting.
Very interesting. I guess it kind of sounds like a twist on like a Brute IPA.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to try that and see what we
Yeah.
think.
So the Galaxy hops, if I'm correct, are the ones that Luke at Trim Tab discussed were being so price gouged now, right?
Yeah, because that's what's in the 006 hazy
Okay.
IPA.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to know if that's still going on, because there's a couple of the beers that we have for this week that are using Galaxy.
Yeah, and it may be that something changed and that's why everyone's using them now. But
Mm-hmm.
it also makes sense if you're doing a really expensive high end. It's not a high end hop; it's just expensive as hell
Mm-hmm.
to make it more of that kind of like wine champagne feeling, like it's something special and not just another IPA.
Yeah.
They also just released, I think today, if I'm right, maybe not. The Imperial S'more Stout, brewed with marshmallows, graham crackers, and chocolate. And speaking of chocolate, they've got another one called the Ursa, which is a chocolate milk stout, which is also available in 4-packs in the tap room.
Nice. So you can get, I've figured out so far the main two things that they're pumping out right now are the double IPA. I've seen a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that, and then the stouts, which it's interesting to see because they're so new, how they progress into each season of beers. They didn't
Yeah,
come out and open in the fall going into winter and say, we're going to give you sours all winter,
yeah,
because that's what we want to do,
yeah.
Uh, it's
Which,
kind of cool to see that.
yeah, and it is interesting too because that's pretty clearly what their goal is going to be
Yeah.
is sours and wild stuff. And I think I mentioned it before. I think this is just my speculation, but I have a feeling they're going to wait until the spring to do that spontaneous fermentation,
Mhm.
and start kicking into that sour beer.
Yeah.
Um,
There's going to be like a switch, like 1 week or 1 month where they're like, look, I hope you tried the IPAs and the stouts because you're getting sours for
yeah,
6 months.
yeah, yeah. I have a feeling that day is going to be sometime mid March,
Mm.
but we'll see.
It goes with
Uh,
probably the biology of the earth and all too.
yeah, well,
Got
spring starts in mid January now, so.
to. Welcome to Alabama, right?
Exactly. The microorganisms never go dormant here.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and it's wild here.
That's
So
right.
they should have a strain of yeast called ale.com comment section.
I would never drink that beer.
It'd be wild though, wouldn't it?
It would be angry and incoherent and
Oh man.
a
Well,
little racist.
I'm gonna reach out to some yeast makers and see if we can get that put on a strain. Uh, uh, one of the cool things down in Montgomery, Common Bond has got a new beer that they're putting out. It's called the Iron Lady, and this is cool. Another collaboration beer. It's their newest research and development batch, and it's a collaboration with AUM's biology department. Speaking of, to create a wonderful English best bitter. It's a classic pub style ale with an approachable maltiness and a dry, bitter finish. Um, so that's cool too. Partnering with the biology department. I know at one point, one of their brewers was at Auburn, if I remember correctly, kind of interning with them from the biology department. So,
Yeah, I think he was at AUM.
oh, okay. So yeah,
Yeah,
there we go. That's perfect.
which
So
is yeah, Auburn Montgomery. So
yeah, so
you're
they
right.
may be the people to talk to about getting a yeast strain.
There you go.
Called the ale.com comment section.
Them or Shane, who can
Yeah.
manipulate yeast genome apparently easily.
Oh man, he was not ready for that was the most terrifying brag. Kind of looked at me like I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Well, you
Uh,
quietly shit your pants in the corner.
exactly. So cool to see a new beer at a Common Bond down in
Yeah.
Montgomery.
Yeah. And speaking of Auburn, over in Opelika, Red Clay Brewing, which we're trying to get them more in the news aisle, as well as the new guys over there at Resting Pulse.
Hmm.
Red Clay has the Effet IPA, which is an 8.5% ABV double rye IPA with a large bitter hop forward bite, citrus, and rye on the back end.
Have you ever had a
So
rye IPA?
I have,
Is it good?
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like rye whiskey. It's a little spicier.
Hmm.
Sometimes it can be a little smokier. Um, but that sounds good. And I mean, I've been to Red Clay a couple times. I don't remember seeing anything that high ABV there before. So,
No, I've had a couple people that told me if I ever make it down there, they have a sweet potato porter,
hmm,
I believe, and I've had multiple people that were like, That's what you got to try there too.
okay,
But I'm 100% on the rye train now because of what El Gordo did for me. I always
yeah,
thought I was going to prefer a bourbon barrel aged, and the rye barrel was 10 times better to me. So now, when I see rye somewhere, I'm like the dog from Up, rye, you know.
yeah,
So new one to the list this week, and hopefully going forward,
yeah.
Oversoul Brewing in Helena, depending on
Helena.
whether you go by the actual pronunciation or the Google Maps pronunciation, which is wild. I can't even try to pronounce the way Google Maps does
How
it.
how can it be
It's
that extreme?
Helene. I don't. It's weird. I'm telling you. Like I remember when she was talking to me on my way over there. I remember looking at my phone like, the hell? She okay? Like I think we broke Google. Um,
Siri thinks it's like Native American or something.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. And then of course, if you talk to people from Helena or Helena, Montana, it's different.
Mm,
So
yeah.
don't shoot us if we said it a little bit wrong. But Oversold there in downtown, which if you haven't been over there, you got to go down and see it. They've got a cool little cigar bar there too that we go over to sometimes. But they're at Oversold. They've got the new Sour Kids IPA, which is their 8% West Coast IPA, which is right up your alley. But then I'm
Oh
curious if
yeah.
you're on board for the brewed with loads of Sour Patch Kids.
That's my favorite type of candy. So,
Is it?
yep,
So this is a match made in heaven for you.
it is. I need to go check it out.
I can't imagine that palate flavor though.
Yeah. Uh,
Like just trying to imagine what that might be. Might go on our video series actually. See
yeah.
how
Drop
close to
some Sour Patch Kids and a Stone IPA and see what happens.
exactly. How true to form were they for Sour Patch Kids IPAs? I don't know, but if you get a chance to go check it out, it's a cool new spot over in Helena, Oversoul Brewing with the
Yeah.
Sour Kids.
Nice and strong too, 8%.
Yeah, yeah. And anytime you go West Coast IPA, I'm listening because most of the time nowadays you're doing a New England or a hazy. So seeing someone do just a clean West Coast IPA is interesting to me.
Yep, that's my jam. That is my stuff. So over in Jasper at Tallulah Brewing, we've got two new releases there. The Pizzazz Pineapple Sour, um, that is 4.2% ABV and 8 IBU. And then we've got a Super Smash Galaxy, again,
Hmm.
IPA, 6.9% ABV, 76 IBU. That's not to be fooled with.
Yeah,
The first in the Smash IPA series, single malt, single hop, made with Galaxy hops. So that's pretty
that's
cool.
yeah. I mean, I was gonna say that's if you ever want to figure out if you like Galaxy hops or not, that beer's gonna be the one, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's nothing else to it.
that's kind of like the tasting we had at Yellowhammer, where it was the
Mhm.
same pale ale with four different hop species or hop styles.
Yeah.
Um, so that's very cool. Galaxy is a strong one to start with, so hopefully they can keep it up.
Yeah, so that's why I was curious of if price gouging's gone down on that, if people are looking to actually get their hands on it again.
Yeah.
Um, so, and then we wrap up the backlog of beer releases that we missed out on with Florence, with Sigan River Brewing Company, and this one, I guess they're gearing up early for spring/summer. It's their Lawn Patrol Light American Ale. Um, excuse me, if you get a chance, go check out the can because very fitting for Lawn Patrol. I'll give it
Okay.
that much. They do a good job. What was the beer that you got? The first one I tried from Singing River, um,
Oh, uh,
and I had never seen their stuff.
Apocalypse Now.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, IPA Calypse Now.
Yeah, and it was
And it's
delicious.
yeah, I think it's a double IPA, a little more like West Coast style. It's a hop bitter punch in the face, but it is delicious.
Yeah, so you can get out that they were canning as well. You can get it in the tap room right now. I believe you can get it if your local place carries Singing River soon was the note
Okay,
that I saw. So
awesome.
we're caught up on the new releases that happened over the last 2 weeks. So now the better
Yep.
question is, so what are you going to do for me this weekend?
Yeah. And something that it's actually happening today, but will be yesterday when most people listen to this.
Yeah.
Cahaba Brewing, they're ramping up for their Cahaba Q,
Hmm.
which is their annual barbecue competition. That takes place April 18th, 2020,
Hmm.
day before my birthday. Um,
Nice. Quick brag.
but their registration opened today for teams. So if you're
Oh, cool.
interested in participating in that, you can go to cahababrewing.com/cahabaq to register, and that's CAHABAQUE.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just how it
in
sounds.
case you were wondering. Yeah, so that's a cool event. If you want to participate, I'm sure there are lucrative prizes for winning, like a
Yeah.
certificate
I
that
would love
says your
to get
barbecue
in
was the
on trying at least the contributions to that.
best. Definitely. So that's something to keep in mind if you're uh, planning on participating in that.
That's fair enough. And then if you're going for Wednesday events, now Logan, my wife, actually, I mentioned this to her, and there's a possibility she's going to go check it out.
Nice.
So at Avondale in Birmingham for Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., they're having bar at the brewery. Now, if you're not familiar, it's like Pure Bar. Um, it's a workout. Everybody's welcome to do it. I tried it. I was the only guy in the class, and it's no joke. It's one of those things of like there was a solid like 15 minutes just working on your seat and not sitting, like in a squat position, lifting slightly and dropping slightly, and I looked way out of place. But that's cool that they're doing that. And then it's one of those, it's $15 and that gets you the class and it gets you a beer. And they're going to be doing that January 8th to Wednesday night. And then they're doing it again on the 20th, 22nd. And then in February, they're going to be doing it on February 5th and February 19th. So
There you go.
if you missed the one for Wednesday night, it's coming up again. You can get those details at the Avondale Instagram, social media, wherever you follow them at. And then Cahaba, which it's not skee ball. I'm sorry, Will, but their game nights are back,
Yep.
and they're doing that for Wednesday night at 7 p.m. It's bingo night, And this is cool because it's going to be benefiting the Freshwater Land Trust. So there's kind of an added incentive there with bingo. And if you haven't played bingo at Cahaba before, it is a good time. It's a little bit more walking because, depending on where you're sitting in the brewery, you got to walk a little bit
A lot
farther
of
to
space
submit your
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's good because then you can walk off a couple drinks. So
Yeah, exactly.
save some room for you. So you got a little bit going on this Wednesday. Uh,
Yeah.
if you're looking to shake off the back to work blues.
Yeah. And Freshwater Land Trust is also the group that puts on the Darter Festival every year.
Oh, what's that?
Um, it's it's a little. I've never been, but
Half the battle's
it's
knowing.
put on by the Freshwater Land Trust. They have, I think they usually have like live music, a couple of vendors, and they pick a brewery. And typically it's been at Good People, but I think last year it was at Cahaba.
Mm,
Um, and whichever brewery it's at always brews like a pale ale. It's called the Darter Ale,
mm.
to be served at the Darter Festival. So
Oh, that's cool.
um, yeah, so that's fun little tidbit
Yeah,
there.
if you care about fresh water.
Yeah, which we all should. Um, So Thursday, what we've got going on, Back 40 Beham, they're ramping up weekly trivia Thursday nights in the tap room, 7 to 9 p.m. So as far as I could tell, they don't necessarily have a theme.
Mm.
It's just your standard trivia, but
Oh,
that's
that'll
fun.
bring out the really confident ones. It's like I don't need a category.
Yeah,
Just throw something at me.
I know everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then over in T-Town, our sister city to the west, 7 p.m. at Black Warrior Brewing Company, they have a poker tournament. And
Interesting.
this is also a weekly thing, it looks like. So um, I'm not sure how that's legal or what the prizes are,
I was
but
just gonna say that is a bold decision to say
yeah,
we are playing underground poker at
yeah,
Black Warrior. Come on by.
that's right. So
Interesting.
yeah, not sure of the details on that. Not sure if there's a buy-in or what.
If you see Joe Pesci there, do not stay around.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Definitely go check that out if you're in T-Town.
Yeah.
And then a little ways up in Florence, back to Singing River again. I thought this was fun because I used to play a lot of disc golf.
Hmm.
Um, they are starting a weekly disc golf putting league competition. This Thursday is the first night, and it goes through, I think, until the middle of February.
Hmm.
Starts at 6 p.m. It's just a regular putting competition, and you need to bring your own putter.
BYOP.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. And
Yep.
that's and so I mean you're putting, so you don't need a lot of room to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen it done before, and usually what it is like you start at 10 feet, then you go to 20, and then maybe you go to 30 if there are still people left,
Mm,
and then there's a winner each week, and the rankings kind of move around week by week based on how many people win how many times.
mm.
And then at the end, I think you get like a grand prize for being the leader over the whole month or whatever.
That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
Might have to make a
It
trip
sounds
up
like
there.
there's a bigger disc golf community up in the Florence area. Actually, the oldest disc golf course in the country is in Florence.
Really?
Yep. Um, so that's
That's random.
it is random. There's a guy that lives here. His name's Tom Monroe,
Hmm.
who was one of the literal founders of disc golf. His you have like a PGA Pro number when you
Yeah.
sign up to be you have the same thing for the PDGA, which is the same thing for disc golf.
Like basically this your number whatever professional to ever have been a professional.
To have registered. Yeah.
Like it only goes up. Like you
Yeah,
can't sign up now and be number 3.
exactly.
Gotcha.
He's like number 6.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So he's credible.
Yeah. So the guy who's like PDGA #1, like the man who is considered to be like the founder of disc golf,
Mhm.
is who the I can't remember his name right now, but he's who the course is named after in Florence.
Hmm.
And Tom was like a really good friend of his. Um,
That's really cool.
yeah, and the only reason I know this is because Tom hangs out in his minivan at George Ward and sells disc golf stuff out of his trunk like
Really?
every day. Yeah.
It must be a booming
So
business.
I mean, I got to know him pretty well just by going to play at George Ward. So that
Mhm.
was pretty cool. But anyway, tangent, but
Oh,
sounds
that
like a fun event. And if you don't play disc golf, go to Academy and buy a $5 putter and just try
yeah.
it out. You know, if anything, you had a couple beers while meeting some new people and
Yeah.
throwing stuff.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny too that it's bring your own putter because I was looking at I think it was Goat Island Tuesday of this week had a cornhole tournament going on and it was bring your own bags and I
What?
saw that and I was like oh damn I'm out. You have to roll me out of that one.
Man, I can't believe that.
Yeah. So if you don't get a chance to check out Singing River and you're saving your energy for your Friday activities, um, definitely hit these places where they're going to let you inside because I know it's supposed to rain and then Saturday gets real interesting.
Mhm.
Uh, but Friday, you can go at noon and pick up Trim Tab's latest release. If you haven't gone by there to grab everything else we mentioned, come Friday, it's another addition to the Light Visions collection, The Theory of Abundance. And now, of course, the Light Visions is their hazy double dry hop double IPAs.
Yep.
And this one is very similar to a lot of some of the other ones with the Mosaic and the Citra hops. Um, but they're going to have it available at noon. And this, in my mind, is easily the coolest can they've had for the Light Visions
Yeah, it
series.
is. It's a gorgeous can.
Yeah.
And these are two of my favorite hops. So I am stoked about this beer. They're
Yeah.
also the two quote unquote stinky hops, which certain people think both of these hops smell and taste like dirty socks.
Really?
Yeah, that
Like
it's a
not
pretty
the aspect of this smells like a skunk or this tastes like a plant. It's this tastes like dirty socks.
yeah, it's weird. It's like I don't know. I think what it is, you know how like some people when you eat asparagus, your pee smells, but some people it doesn't. It's like a
Yeah,
genetic thing.
it's kind of same thing.
And like with cilantro too, like some people think it tastes soapy and some people don't.
That's true. I
I
hadn't
think
thought
it's
about
the
that.
same deal with these hops. Like some people, they just taste like this nasty, like funky BO flavor for
Interesting.
some reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I a guy that's friends with one of the guys I worked with. We were randomly at a lunch one day, just grabbing a beer, and he just showed up, got introduced to him. And Trent, I don't know if you listened or not, but I'm gonna call you out here. But he had an allergy to any hop except for Citra.
What?
So he was drinking beers and noticing like he was having issues, like bodily issues. But when he had just Citra hops, he was fine. So he can drink IPAs if they're strictly Citra hops or beers if they're strictly Citra hops, but he has problems with any other IPAs that are heavy in a hop that's not Citra. It's wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
so
fun
strange.
fact. Good to hear. Good to know, Trent. Now that
Okay
everybody
then.
else knows about that. So
Yeah.
also going on Friday, if you're making your way into the evening hours, Cross-Eyed Owl up in Decatur, our buddy Trey has got Steve-O on tap at 6:30 p.m. And now he sent this without any extra context. And my first thought was he is way too casual about Steve-O coming to Decatur, Alabama.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and Steve-O is a DJ.
Yeah.
Um, but he's very prominent up. He's actually hitting a lot of the breweries up in the Huntsville, Decatur area. So you can get by there and try that. And to go along with that, um, Trey also mentioned that if you're going to go by and see Steve-O, they're going to have $1 off their Klaus and Krampus, or Claus and Krampus. I say that wrong every time. While supplies last. I don't know.
Well, I think if it's spelled with a K, it probably is Klaus.
Yeah, and I didn't ask.
I think you're right.
Yeah. We'll say
I'm going
yes.
with you on that one.
Yeah. And then if you go check out Steve-O, they're almost out of the butterscotch porter, which sounds like heaven.
Like
Uh,
butterbeer.
exactly. That's first thing I thought.
Yeah.
And their barrel-aged cherry black ale. So that's probably very good as well. So that's going on Friday at Cross-Eyed Owl. And then Straight to Ale up in Huntsville, they're going to have homegrown comedy in the Speakeasy from 8 to 10 p.m. Get out and support your local comedians. They're probably a little depressed and, but excited to provide comedy.
Uh-huh.
Because, as someone who tries to come up with laugh stuff, it can be sad. So that's 8 to 10 p.m. at
Oh,
Straight to Ale in the Speakeasy, and it's a $5 admission for that one. And then wrapping up your Friday options, Ghost Train. They're going to have at 7 p.m. live music with Derek Day and Peyton Grant in the tap room. I'm not familiar personally with their stuff, but Ghost Train's got a cool new setup there at the brewery if you haven't had a chance to check it out. With the live music there in the tap room, but then they've got the containers outside for extra seating. So it's a really cool environment now, and better parking too, which is always huge.
yeah. Always,
So
especially there. It was like you couldn't use their parking lot ever.
yeah, it was if you got a spot right there on, I guess it's Second Avenue,
Yeah.
you were good, or else you were going to have to hike it from somewhere.
Yeah.
But they've gotten that all figured out. So that's your Friday options for this weekend.
Yeah. So rolling into Saturday, like Steven said, the rain will be here all day, it looks like. So
Yeah, I saw they upped the chances of severe weather to a 3 out of 5 enhanced risk.
enhanced.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So don't go play outdoors. Go to a brewery. Stay inside and drink beer instead.
Don't go somewhere metal.
Yeah. Um, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Serious scratching on the door.
He agreed.
Yeah. All right. So for Saturday, we are looking at Slag Heap in Trustful. They've got a truck. I originally wrote food truck, but it's not a food truck. From 12 to 4, the Screaming Beans Coffee Company truck.
That's interesting.
So if you need to go get a coffee before you start drinking your beer.
That's like a pick-me-up for I need a couple more.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting, and I'm sure you can just stop by as well if you just need a coffee and you live in Trustful.
Yeah.
Without having to get a beer. Down in Montgomery, Common Bond, 6 p.m. Cameron Dubois, live music,
Well done.
10:30, and then at 10:30 a.m. we have Bend and Brew Yoga in the tap room.
Nice.
So that's always fun. Up in Madison at Rocket Republic, they have from 11 to 4. This is really interesting. The Tap Room Tap Out, which is a robot battle competition.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the second one they're having apparently, and they just have like this.
Is that like that old show? What was it?
Yes, I could not remember the name of it.
What is that called? It's not Battle Robot.
Just Battle Bots.
BattleBots, wasn't that it?
That sounds right.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so it's the same exact thing. So like robots with like axes on them, like chopping other robots in half, and
That's so cool.
it sounds gnarly and very entertaining. So that's really exciting, and especially if you love robots, definitely go check that out. Down the road a little ways, Goat Island. This was another thing that I was pretty excited to see. At 7 p.m., they are doing a 90s themed Name That Tune, which is like it sounds, Name That Tune.
Yeah.
But you're on a team with several folks. So it's not just
Nice.
you alone versus everybody else.
It's funny because I was excited for that too. So I pulled up some 90s music trivia to see how well versed you were.
All right.
So I'm curious off the top of your head here how well you can do. I
Okay.
got 2, 3, 4. I got 4. So
Okay.
it varies. It
Are you gonna
varies
like
for
play
you.
music? Because
No. Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, copyright is going to be a bitch if I try that.
Yeah.
So it's just strictly trivia on all 90s stuff. So I think
Let's do it.
they're close enough. So which girl group said, "If you want my future, forget my past. If you want to get with me, better make it last."
Spice Girls.
That's it. Well done. I feel like if it's not read in their exact tone, that could throw you off.
Yeah, maybe.
This one I think is going to be easy for you.
Okay.
Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, and Screaming Trees are all from what U.S. city and state? What is it?
Seattle,
Yeah,
Washington.
yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that could easily be tricky, or if you know it, you know it. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty simple.
That's like my absolute favorite genre of music. So
So
that was a turkey right there.
yeah. So this one should be a little easier too for you then. Which Green Day
Okay.
album was released? Which Green Day album was released in 1994 with songs like Longview, Basket Case, and When I Come Around?
Oh,
Now, I'll be honest, if I was having to make a guess, this would probably be the only album I would remember the name of.
is it American Idiot?
No, come on.
Oh, see,
No, what are you doing? That's like 2004.
I know because I know because that was a Bush album.
Name another Green Day album.
Uh, Nimrod is the only other Green Day
Oh,
album I
that
know.
would have been a good guess. No, it was Dookie.
Okay, sorry, Green Day.
Yeah, man. All the Green Day fans out there screaming.
Obviously, I like Spice Girls more than Green Day. So.
Well, so this will be a true test as the final question as to if
Okay.
you like Green Day more than this artist.
Okay.
In 1999, who had the number one hit on the Billboard Hot 100 with Genie in a Bottle? You know it. Now you don't want to say it.
I don't know it. I don't know.
You don't know it?
I don't know.
It's Christina Aguilera, Genie in a Bottle. You saved your skin there. I think you knew it, but then you
50%.
you couldn't get a Christina Aguilera question right and then have gotten Green Day wrong. That was the problem. But anyways, carry on. I thought that would be a
Oh man, that was
nice little
fun. That was
detour.
good.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'll have to ask you the trivia questions.
Yeah, or just surprise me with something that you don't prep me for, like I do to you.
Yeah. Okay, so a little less. Well, I'm not gonna say. I was gonna say a little less lively, but that might be a little rude. Um, down at Folklore Brewing on Saturday, there is an event called Blankets and Brews, where you pay an admission fee. You get to hang out in the tap room and make your very own chunky knit blankets. Uh,
What is a chunky knit
supplies
blanket?
are included.
Oh,
Uh,
well, that's good.
yeah, just a very large, thick, soft blanket. I think
Yeah. So you could make your
it's
grandma one and
yeah,
say, "This is payback."
yeah,
You
yeah.
try to go to sleep with this thing. It's scratchy.
Yes, exactly.
Fair
So
enough.
that wraps up your Saturday. So hopefully there's something there that you can do to keep out of the rain.
I will say you skipped one that I thought you were going to have.
What did I skip?
Because I thought this was a big one for you as well. Because I was very interested. Straight to Ale on Saturday has the Wild and Scenic
Oh, I
Film
did miss it.
Festival,
Damn.
2 to 5 p.m. and 6 to 9 p.m. in the art room, $10 general admission. And now I didn't look into what exactly this stuff was, but I noticed you had added on its films focusing on conservation.
Yep. Yep.
That's really cool. So it's like local National Geographic.
Yeah, probably.
That Could you imagine a Saturday where you start at Rocket Republic seeing BattleBots and then go watch about how all of our rivers are drying up?
Yeah,
Be it a roller coaster of emotions.
it would. I would probably. I don't know if you could. Let's see, 11 to 4. You might be able to go watch the conservation films and then get really pissed off about how bad the environmental situation is, and
Yeah,
let the robots take your anger out for you.
that's probably a better way to do it.
Yeah.
End on a high note.
Yeah. Get some frustration out.
Exactly. And then on Monday, just because we put these out on Wednesdays, Good People is going to have at On Tap Liberty Park their 2015 El Gordo and Fatso release. Now, I thought this was really interesting
Yeah.
because I saw a post from them and I was thinking, all right, Good People's putting it out. But no, yeah, it's only at On Tap Liberty Park
Yep.
that you'll be able to check that out. And that's from 7 to 10 p.m.
I think 5 to 10 p.m.
5 to 10, which is perfect
Got a
because you got,
little more time there.
especially if you are a LSU or Clemson fan and you're a little nervous, I can tell you that 2 glasses of the 2015 El Gordo would probably put you in a pretty comfy position.
Ease your nerves a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also going on Monday, Big Beach, every Monday night at 7 p.m., they've got Geeks Who Drink Trivia, which probably fits close into that back 40 thing of don't give me the subject. We're geeks who
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah.
We don't need
You
a
know
subject.
Exactly.
I bet that trivia night gets rowdy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
'Cause-
And I think it's probably safe to say that any brewery you might end up at on Monday is going to have the game on. So if you can't get it at home, like I probably can't because we don't have cable, go out to your favorite brewery and enjoy it in style.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
hopefully there's Alabama fans there that are really conflicted. So they're even more angsty, which makes the watching even more fun.
Yeah. And as an Auburn fan, I'd just like to say go Tigers.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, that's it for this weekend / into next week. It felt good to get back to this. Of course, we'll have another update come next week with what's going on, which is weird because by next week's episode, we'll be halfway through January. I don't know if that scares you or not.
I'm ready for spring.
Yeah.
I'm ready for those Ferris Wild ales.
You got it circled on your calendar. You're like, if we could get rid of these damn stouts already.
Give me the sours.
So as always, if you want to keep up to date with what we've got going on, you can go to extraspecialbrews.com. Find us across social media at Extra Special Brews, and then be sure to go subscribe to the newsletter so you can get these updates in just a Word document format with a little cheesy line here or there that's some added value to you.
That's right.
And if you haven't done so already, subscribe on whatever platform that you listen to the podcast on so you can be getting these weekly episodes. And if you feel led to do so, leave us a review and let us know what you think. And I do have one little bit of homework to let us know if you're curious to know more about food trucks every week. As a food guy myself, I do like to know what snacks I'm getting into if I'm going to the brewery. And it's information we come across. We're just kind of iffy on if this wants to become a heavier food truck dominated show. But if it's something that you want, let us know. And we're more than happy to talk food trucks and scheduling on that a little bit more. That'll probably fall more into my domain if it does so. Unless, of course, they have sour beer French fries or something like that. They're soaking their beers in. I will. Okay. So side note on this, you will be glad to know that I made IPA brats the other night.
Ooh,
IPA beer brats.
Yes.
It was all right.
Yeah.
It felt bad to waste 2 IPAs on that because I didn't taste a whole lot of a difference.
See, that's the thing. I usually go for like a cheaper, Oktoberfest style beer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like, if I'm feeling fancy, I'll do like a Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest.
Oh man, I tried that the next night.
Yeah, with the brats.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty good. But once again, I was like, damn, I just poured out 2 Sierra Nevada Oktoberfests, and
yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't come through a whole lot, but you know what kind of pulls it out for me, especially if you do more of a German style beer, or if you did like you could use like a wit, even like Blue Moon. Throw some coriander in there, and it just pulls out that note in the beer, and you can kind of taste it a little more in the brats.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I've changed the name of our group to the IPA Brat Boys.
Brat Boys.
The IPA brought no. It's I've left IPA boys.
Okay, well, yeah.
And now it's just the IPA brought boys,
I like it.
and that T-shirt is going to be memorable.
Yes, it's gonna be. Yes, that will be interesting.
I appreciate the support. As always, it's been a pleasure. That's it for this week's extra special news with Extra Special Brews. I'm Steven Spears.
I'm Will Cushman.
Appreciate you joining. We'll see you next week.
All right, thanks everybody.